Hi there, it's June the 9th and we are continuing our voyage through the first book of Kings in 1 Kings 5 and 6. Actually, 1 Kings 5 begins halfway through the Hebrew chapter 5 and it tells the story of King Hiram, king of Tyre, and his relationship with Solomon. We recall at the beginning of chapter 3, Solomon has made an alliance with the king of Egypt, and now that he has peace in his kingdom, he's continuing to make alliances. This alliance with Hiram is actually also a trade arrangement, a trade partnership, because because Solomon wants to have the temple built that David had the vision for. And he says, my father David couldn't build this temple because he was a man of war, but now I am in a peaceful position, the kingdom is settled, and now I want to build the temple for the Lord. Something that's really interesting and worth noting here is that Solomon says, I purpose to build this temple. The Lord hasn't actually commanded a temple. It's not like the tabernacle, which the Lord gave his people the pattern for. This is actually the idea originally of David and now of Solomon, and we may remember that it's something that they have purpose to build. Although God does say to Solomon, I will live there, I want to live among my people, so he chooses it, but he hasn't commanded it. So this relationship with Hiram is to provide cedar and wood. The cedars of Lebanon are the best wood in the world, and so they are shipped down from Tyre, which is on the coast north of Israel, and shipped on ships down to the coast of Israel and then presumably taken inland. And Solomon actually conscripts a number of thousands of workers from Israel. He makes them work 1 month out of 3 so that they can still continue their normal occupations, but he actually sends them up to be woodcutters and porters, carriers of the wood to transport it in for the temple. And so in chapter 6 we read of the beginnings of the making of the temple. And one thing just to note, the foundations and much of it are of stone, and none of the stone that is made, none of the stone that is cut actually is cut on site at the temple. To preserve the quietness, all of the stone is prepared before it's brought in to the temple site. So then it's built in and built up, and its basic structure is that it's around, if we take 18 inches to the cubit, it's around 90 feet long and 30 feet wide. It's in 2 sections, the Holy of Holies and the Holy Place. The Holy of Holies is really a cube, 30 feet by 30 feet by 30 feet, and then 60 feet by 30 feet is the Holy Place, the place where the lampstand was, the place separated by the veil. And then there are also chambers around, there's rooms around on several stories, ancillary rooms along the sides. It's a magnificent piece of work. It's overlaid with gold. It's made of wood but overlaid with gold. And in the holy place, in the Holy of Holies, in the very holy place, the ark is going to be placed. Now, it's an interesting fact that this Holy of Holies is also called in Hebrew the Devir. And Devir comes from the Hebrew word davar, means a word, a speaking place. And so Devir is a word we haven't come across before to describe the Holy of Holies, but this means it's the place where God is going to speak to his people. It's the place of communication between God and his people. And there, Solomon has built 2 mighty cherubim. Remember, the cherubim are on the Ark of the Covenant, small ones over the Ark. But now Solomon has these great towering olive wood cherubim built, and they are going to tower over the Ark of the Covenant. And so he brings it there, and we see the temple beginning to come together, a magnificent piece of work which Solomon will have completed, and where God actually says his presence is going to dwell. Have a very good June the 9th.